Good morning, girls. Today we will do a topic in English grammar. Our topic for today is question tags. Now, what are question tags? Question tags are short questions at the end of statements. They are mainly used in speech when we want to confirm that something is true or not, or to encourage a reply from the person we are speaking to. Question tags are formed with the auxiliary or modal verb from the statement and the appropriate subject. Let's understand about question tags with the help of the following example. He is from Scotland. Now, when I add a question tag to it, my sentence becomes He is from Scotland, isn't he? Notice that when I added a question tag, I made use of a question mark at the end of the sentence. Now, we can't just add question tags randomly to any sentences. There are ways and rules to follow in doing so. Children, notice the verb in the sentence before the tag. What is the verb used here? Yes, the verb used is, which is a helping verb. Now, this helping verb is in the positive. Therefore, in the tag, the use of this verb becomes negative. The subject used in the sentence is used once more in the tag. The subject he is repeated. You can also see that there is a comma that is used to separate the tag. Now, if the given sentence is an affirmative or positive sentence, then the tag used must be in the negative. A positive statement is followed by a negative question tag. For example, we have a sentence. Jack is from Spain, isn't he? In this sentence, the verb used is, which is in the positive. Therefore, the tag must contain a negative helping verb. The negative of is isn't. So we use isn't in the tag after the comma and we repeat the subject. For repeating the subject in the tag, a pronoun form of the noun is always used. In this sentence, Jack. Jack is the subject. Therefore, in the tag, the pronoun of the noun Jack is used, which is he. Our question tag must always end with a question mark. This is very important. If we miss out on putting the question mark, then we lose marks. We have one more sentence. Mary can speak English, can't she? Here also the tag is formed using the negative form of the helping verb. The helping verb in the sentence is can. Therefore, in the tag, its negative form, which is can't, is used. And the pronoun of Mary, who is the subject of the sentence, she is used. The tag is separated by a comma and the question tag is ended with a question mark. Now suppose we have two verbs in our affirmative sentence. For example, our sentence, she is writing a letter. In this sentence, there are two verbs. One is a helping verb, that is. Another verb is a main verb, that is writing. Now, to add a question tag, we will use the same basic method that we learnt earlier. Our sentence therefore becomes, she is writing a letter, isn't she? We changed the helping verb from positive into negative and we repeated the pronoun she, which is the subject. Let us see some other examples of this kind. They were sleeping in the class. After adding a question tag, our sentence becomes, they were sleeping in the class, weren't they? The next sentence, he has created a problem. He has created a problem, hasn't he? The next sentence, you have passed the examination. You have passed the examination, haven't you? I am very happy. I am very happy, aren't I? Now suppose in the sentence there is only one main verb and no helping verbs in the sentence. Then if that verb is written is in its first form, then in the tag that you will add, you have to use the word don't. I repeat, if there is only one main verb in the sentence and that verb is written in its first form, for example, the verb write is given here, which is in its first form, then we have to use the word don't in the tag. Now, if our verb is written in its second form, for example, the second form of the verb write is wrote, then we have to use the word didn't in the tag. The third form of the verb write is written. Don't worry about what to write for this form, as the third form of the verb usually has a helping verb. I have put the verbs first form, second and third form so that you get an understanding of the verb forms, which is very important when using question tags. The first form of the verb is always in its present or base form. The second form of the verb is always in its past form and the third form of the verb is always in the participle form. When you get the first form, the base or present form of the verb, you have to use the word don't in the question tag. Now look at this sentence. They write a poem every day. The only verb existing in this sentence is write. Now children, so far in question tags, we learned that if the verbs are positive in the sentence, then the tag becomes negative. What we do is that we reuse the helping verb and change it into positive, or from positive we change it into negative. Now, we can do so only if there are helping verbs in the sentences. But in this sentence, there are no helping verbs. Therefore, in such a case, we will use the word don't considering the verb's action. So our sentence after adding the tag will be: they write a poem every day, don't they? Remember, children, we use don't only if the verb is written in its first form. Look at these sentences. The first sentence: you play the guitar. In this sentence, the only verb is play. It is the first form of the verb. Therefore, we add the tag don't over here in the sentence. So our sentence will be: you play the guitar, don't you? The second sentence: you speak French. Here as well, we have only one verb which is in its first form, that is speak. So our sentence after adding the tag will be: you speak French, don't you? The last sentence: they have good connections with that company. The only verb here is have. So our sentence is: they have good connections with that company, don't they? Now again, if the sentence does not have a helping verb, but there is only a main verb, and if this main verb ends with the letter S, then in such a case, you will use the word doesn't in the question tag. I repeat, if there is only a main verb in the sentence and that verb ends with the letter S, you have to use doesn't in the question tag. For example, we have a sentence: she collects her money. The main verb in the sentence here is collects, which ends with the letter S. Therefore, we will use the word doesn't in our tag. So our sentence will be: she collects her money, doesn't she? Let's look at some of the examples of this kind. The first sentence: he works hard. The main verb in this sentence is works, which ends with the letter S. Therefore, when we add the tag, our sentence will be: he works hard, doesn't he? The second sentence: it snows heavily. The main verb in this sentence is snows. This verb ends with the letter S. So after adding the question tag, our sentence will be: it snows heavily, doesn't it? The last sentence: Peter knows the fact of life. After adding the tag, our sentence will be: Peter knows the fact of life, doesn't he? Now, when you get the second form, that is the past form of the verb, then you have to use the word didn't in the question tag. For example, we have a sentence: she wrote a story carefully. In this sentence, the word wrote is the only main verb in the sentence. There is no helping verb. The verb wrote is the verb in its second form. Therefore, we will use the word didn't when we put our tag. So our sentence will be: she wrote a story carefully, didn't she? Let's look at some examples of this kind. The first sentence: they cooked food for me. The main verb in this sentence is cooked, which is in the second form. The verb in the past form, that is cooked. So after adding the tag, our sentence will be, they cooked food for me, didn't they? The second sentence, you created so many problems. The main verb in the sentence is created, which is a verb in its second form. Therefore, our sentence after adding the tag will be, you created so many problems, didn't you? The last sentence, I prepared a new project yesterday. The verb in this sentence is prepared, which is in its second form. So our sentence is, I prepared a new project yesterday, didn't I? Now, if your sentences are negative sentences, then the tag used must be an affirmative question tag. A negative statement is followed by a positive question tag. We will stick to the same rules that we learnt. Only remember that if the statement is positive, then a negative tag must be used, and if the statement is negative, then a positive tag must be used. Okay, have a look at this sentence. They aren't funny. This is a negative sentence containing a negative verb, that is aren't. So our tag should be in the positive. Therefore, our sentence will be, they aren't funny, are they? Similarly, the next sentence, he shouldn't say things like that. This is a negative sentence containing a negative verb shouldn't. So, our tag should be in the positive. So, our sentence will now be, he shouldn't say things like that, should he? Let's look at some examples of this kind. The first sentence, they did not catch the thief. This sentence is a negative sentence. It contains the negative verb did not catch. Therefore, after adding the tag, our sentence will be, they did not catch the thief, did they? Our sentence had a negative verb, but when we put the tag became a positive tag, did they? The second sentence, you cannot solve it. This sentence is a negative sentence containing the negative word cannot. Cannot is a helping verb. So our sentence will be, you cannot solve it, can you? The third sentence, Sam could not approach me. This as well is a negative statement containing the negative word could not. So our sentence is now, Sam could not approach me, could he? Let's recall what we learned. We learned that if the sentence is an affirmative or positive sentence, then there will be a negative question tag. And if our sentence is a negative sentence, then there will be an affirmative or positive question tag. We also learned that in affirmative sentences, if the main verb appears in its first form, then we use the word don't in the question tag. And similarly, if the main verb appears in its second form, then we use the word didn't in the question tag. We also learned that If the main verb ends with an S, then we use the word doesn't in the question tag. For your homework, rewrite the following sentences using appropriate question tags. Children, kindly complete this homework on a file sheet paper or a notebook that you have made. See to it that you complete it and preserve this for learning. With this, I have finished the topic of question tags. This was all for now. Thank you and take care.